there's a campaign, and it's like it's a pre-generated campaign. Like you can essentially just spend a little bit of money and buy this module. Honestly, you probably just download it off the internet at this point. Oh, module, that's the word I'm looking for. So if you like Dungeons and Dragons, you can get these things called modules, and modules are, you know, basically it's a pre-generated campaign, and most of the work is done for you, the math is done for you, and you just the DM just studies it and goes on. Now, this module that we did, and I remember the name of it was called the Sunless Citadel, so I just googled Sunless Citadel map, and I was able to find it pretty quick. So if you look over here to the right-hand side, you see there's a citadel, and then there was like a sinkhole, and it is sunk down into the ground, right? But to get in there, because it's so far underground, you're on land, and there's just like this chasm, and you gotta like lower a rope and descend into the darkness, all right? And you land on this like thing here, and then it's like stairs, and it goes down to the citadel, and then there's more stuff underground you find out. And it's like over here is the map, you know, when you start, it's just a chasm, that's all you see. They don't know what's down there. So anyway, our party starts, and I want you to imagine this. There's this big chasm. Hang on a sec. Shut up the NPCs. There's a big chasm. You got a party of level 1 adventurers. I'm a new DM. They're new players. None of us have done this before, but we're doing our best and we're having fun. And they're like, okay, one of the guys is playing a warrior, a fighter named Joffrey. And they're like, we're gonna lower Joffrey into the darkness. He's like, yeah, let's go, let's muck and go. He was ready. So he gets on a rope and just descends. Now, they did not say that they brought any source of light into this. They didn't put like a torch down there or anything. And I was like, okay, do the rest of you follow? And they're like, I bet Muck is going to like cut the rope if there's too much weight on it or something. So no, we're gonna be smart, and the rest of us wait at the top while he descends. I was not intending to cut the rope. I wanted to know how far away they were so that when he got into combat, how many turns it was going to take them to reach him. So he descends like 100 feet of rope and hits the bottom, and the rest of them are 100 feet straight up. And he's in pitch black darkness. And he lands at the bottom, and there's 3 giant rats. Level 1 enemies, but they can see in the dark. And our fighter, Joffrey, was a human who cannot see in the dark. And he is 100 feet of rope climbing away from his teammates. That's their first fight. That's their first encounter. So he gets attacked, and I roll some dice. He should have been dead like the second turn. So first off, I'm like, something's biting your leg. It's like, roll for initiative. And they're like, oh God. And I'm like, you hear, I should have had all 3 rats attack at once. I was like, yeah, you hear something scuttling in the distance. Whatever it is, there's more. Your move, So I had them come in one at a time, like single file. And then he's like, I swing at it. And I'm like, you have to flip a coin because it's 50-50 whether you miss. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because it's pitch black, you idiot. And he's like, oh no. And one of the guys up top is like, can I throw down a torch? I'm like, yeah. I was like, or if you had a spell or something. And then the bard's like, oh, I've got a spell called Dancing Lights. Does that work? And I'm like, I bet it would, yeah. So the bard uses his turn and does Dancing Lights and does like a ball of light that floats down, and then he is like, oh, I'm fighting giant rats. And they're like, all right, we just send the rope as fast as we can. And I'm like, all right, that's like, it was like 10 or 20 feet of, descending the rope safely per turn. And if you go faster than that, you have to do like an athletics check or possibly just fall all the way down, which would be an instant death. So he's down there, and I'm freaking... I'm like, oh, it attacks you. Oh, it catches on the plate of your boot. It doesn't penetrate your defenses. I'm making crap up because he's supposed to already be dead. So I'm dragging this out. The thief, this guy named Joey. Joey comes down the rope, and he's got, I said thief, sorry, he was a rogue. He's got a hand crossbow. And he's like, I slide down the rope, and I'm like, I got you, buddy. And I flip my hair, and I pull out my hand crossbow, and I fire at the rat. And I was just like, Now, this dude, I want to let you know, this guy made us all kind of like groan IRL constantly. He was that kind of individual. So he does this this maneuver, and I'm like, okay, all right, roll it, and he rolls a 1, and I'm like, okay, that's a critical fail, so something very wrong has to happen. I'm like, your shot is gonna go stray. So here's the deal. And I was like, look, here's Joffrey, here's the rat. And I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Roll, roll out of, I was like, roll an 8-sided die, and the number you roll will determine where that arrow went. Because you whiffed bad. He rolls it, he shoots Joffrey. He nails the fighter that I'm already lying about whether or not he's alive, while the dude's getting mobbed by 3 rats. Yo, I thought a fist fight was going to break out in there. I thought those two were going to come to blows. And yeah, so yeah, anyway, he's like, all right, I fire again. And I'm like, that thing holds 1 bolt and you just fired it, and your other hand's holding onto a rope and you're 50 feet off the ground. You cannot fire that again right now. He's like, can I use my teeth? And I'm like, no, you can't. You're level 1. You're not skilled enough with your teeth. And he's like, oh man. So he's like, all right, I drop it and I come down and get my daggers out. And yet the other people are above him on the rope, like, move, because he's blocking the rope. Yeah, like the very first fight, I was just nonstop. Oh, the rat narrowly misses. Stuff like that. He should have leveled teeth. Yeah, he should have min-maxed better. Taken points out of ambidexterity, put it into teeth.